and welcome to episode 41 of The Weekly Whisper. I'm your host, Elian Habanero, and I'm here to talk all things 365 Pro Wrestling. And this episode really is the calm before the storm. So many great things happening in the next couple days, the next couple of weeks, and we're here to talk about all that stuff and try not to get you too excited, but also give you something to do while you're waiting for all this exciting stuff to happen. And I got some big news to start it off here. There was some kind of like media release thing. They did a conference call today, and they gave me some notes from the conference call that I was allowed to talk about here publicly on the Weekly Whisper, and don't know all the details yet. But 365 Pro Wrestling will be producing approximately a half an hour, maybe like a 22-25 minute TV style show. I don't know if they're going to be filming separate matches than the matches at the live events, or they're going to do like a studio TV taping. I don't know what platform it's going to be on, but I have gotten word that all the shareholders and the management types and ownership types have all approved this to just keep taking the next step. There's a lot of wrestling companies that are not even operating at the moment. They're all on hiatus or hold. 365 is kind of hitting every kind of different base and direction there. They got their Twitch stream going, they got their YouTube going, they got live events going, people are selling merchandise, it's just incredible. But yeah, so they're doing a TV taping style show. I don't even really know how to put it into words, but they will be producing a show, and more details will be soon to come. And obviously the Twitch stream is one of my favorite things right now. I've mentioned that in the past, and they're up to about 140 followers now. They got about a handful of subscribers, which you can subscribe $4.99 a month or $9.99 for tier 2, and just released 2 new emotes have been released. If you are a tier 2 subscriber, they got the Golden Boy Travis Williams, the global champion, and OGB Jordy Taylor, the grand champion. So it's worth your subscription. Tons, like every time I check, they're streaming something, whether it be like Japanese wrestling or 365 wrestling from the past, and kind of more current stuff too as well, and just anybody that's associated with 365, you might see some of that. I've seen some old WWF stuff, some old WCW stuff, some old territory stuff, and it's always good fun. There's always fun people to chat with that have similar interests. So check that out if you can. And of course, we always talk about the big Wednesday night Twitch stream. 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific. Every Wednesday is like their big Twitch stream night where they have a special. But another announcement is that they're going to continue doing the Wednesday night Twitch streams, and they are also going to be doing an Ontario-based Twitch stream just to cater to all the wrestling that the company has put out in the Ontario, the province of Ontario throughout the years, like 15 years of history that's going to be seen, and we're going to have like top 5s from some of the Ontario stars that have graced the 365 or formerly PWA rings in the past, but they're going to move that up to make it a little more accommodating due to the time change. So it's going to be 4 p.m. Pacific for that one and 7 p.m. Eastern. And then of course every Tuesday, the Weekly Whisper. The days are just filling up. We got a lot of 365 affiliates that are Twitch streaming as well, that you can check them out. And a lot of the 365 stars can often be found in the chat rooms, and it's always good to be able to engage with them. I certainly take every opportunity, whether they appreciate it or not. If I see they're on there, I'm asking them a question or trying to say hello or whatever. And of course, this weekend, we are 4 days away from the doubleheader, which is, in my opinion, the biggest night of the year for the 365 company, their brand. 2 shows in one. I know there was another day. I believe they had 2 shows, one in Ontario, one in BC, or maybe it was a day after. I should have got my facts straight. But to me, this one just has more titles on the line, because there was no titles back in I believe that was February, or maybe that's when they crowned the grand champion. But anyway, first I want to talk about all the champions, because it's good to recognize them, obviously. So Liza Hall and Travis Williams both won their global and global women's championship on the same night, and they've both now held their titles for 72 days. And Jordy Taylor, the grand champion, has now held his title for 231 days, And the team of Javico and Eddie Osborne, have now been the 365 Tag Team Champions for 273 days. Congratulations to them, and if they're successful this weekend, all of them have their championships on the line at one point or another during one of the two events, and if they can keep it going, then the days will continue piling up. The YouTube keeps getting more subscribers. They're all almost up to 2,100. The Whispers are on there. They've been putting some classic BC matches up there I've seen as well. And then Dr. Walls addressed us a couple of days ago and has answered a bunch of questions that I had, that the viewers had, promoted the show well. A couple of highlights to me stood out was the decision about Ref Tim. They're not going to hold Ref Tim responsible for the accident between Liza Hall and Travis Williams, which I totally agree with. The man has refereed, officiated every single 365 match in British Columbia since the beginning of the year, and one incident out of, it's 99% chance that he's done the right thing always. So I totally agree with this, but any other incidents, then I would really, really stress looking at it. But Dr. Walls explained it very well, and then he also was talking about TJ Harley, how he's not suspended, but as kind of like a punishment to maybe set him straight. They were leaving him off this event. A double payday is not something TJ wants to miss, especially when he was riding the momentum. So it's just kind of like a warning, I think, there. And then Dr. Walls gave the Weekly Whisperer a shout out, so I really appreciate that, and that was pretty cool. So we're going to quickly go through the cards, the last minute, the last chance I have to promote this, and you can bet the next Weekly Whisperer will be filled with as many details I have from the shows, the two shows, the 2 p.m. show and the 7 p.m. show. So this is it, and there is still a little bit of tickets left. I think there's only under 10 for sure. I think maybe only like 5, but if you want to get in it and you're thinking about it, and you have an opportunity to go, and especially with some of the restrictions, I don't want to jinx anything, but I know out here in Ontario they're kind of going back in phases. I don't know about BC, but if there was to be a chance that shows got stopped again, you wouldn't want to miss this one. And you have two opportunities, the 2 p.m. and the 7 p.m. This Saturday, October 17th, Campbell River, the Willow Point Hall. The first matchup at the 2 p.m. event, we'll have newcomer Sharif Morrow versus Judas Icarus, the Born Sinner. And then the next match is going to be for the 365 Tag Team Champions. Javico and Eddie Osborne are going to defend against the unlikely pairing of Jordy Taylor and Brett Matthews. And Dr. Walls really explained why he made that decision. Really check out his video as well. He explains that he's the one making the decisions too, so anything I'm doing is just kind of an interpretation of him. And then so we have another match. BJ Lorato will return to a 365 ring. He'll take on Rhea Von Slasher. And then this has been going on for quite a while. We have the handicap match, Cremator Von Slasher versus Nolan James and Zach Andrews. Handicap match, and I forgot to ask if it was tag-ins or tag-outs. There's just so much going on, but we'll see. It's only 3-4 days away, right? So that's going to be the handicap match, and then of course the main event for the 2 p.m. event, a submission match. Liza Hall will get her another shot at the Golden Boy Travis Williams Global Championship. And then we're going to flip the page, turn the page, and then we'll talk about the 7 p.m. event. Also be sure to check out the last two Whispers. Episode 39, me and Paul Wright went through these shows in utmost detail, and not a thing was left out. Anything that could happen or should happen or might happen or won't, we talked about every single thing, and that was a great episode. And then of course the last episode, episode 40, me and the cameraman made our predictions. So I'm not going to go into it too much here. If you want more on those shows, check out those last two episodes. I really enjoyed doing those episodes, and I thought they came across well. And so the 7 p.m. show, Sharif Morrow will be in singles action once again, and he'll be taking on Javico. At that point, Javico may or may not be still the tag team champion, we don't know. Cremator will take on the Golden Boy Travis Williams, who at that point, we don't know if he'll be the global champion. And then there's a 4-way match. BJ Lorato versus Born Sinner Judas Icarus versus Nolan James, the Island Crusader, versus the hometown hero, EO Eddie Osborne. And the four-way match is very critical because you're not just beating one person, you're moving up the rankings over 3. And then Liza Hall, who could be the global champion at this point, will defend her global women's championship against Rhea Von Slasher. And then the main event, a street fight for the grand championship, which could be between the tag team champions at this point. Bret the Body Matthews versus the Old Greedy Bastard, Jordy Taylor. It's going to be a heck of an event. I just wanted to quickly point out, if you are on the island, Vancouver Island, and you follow this stuff, you love this stuff, this is something you think you want to do, make sure you check out Victoria, BC. The Pro Wrestling Academy is still open. They're open, and you can sign up there, and I've talked to a few of the trainees on some of the chats on the Twitch stream. They all have good attitudes. It's all very positive. Anybody can fit in there. It's something you want to do. Don't waste another minute. Head over to the Pro Wrestling Academy. And so, I always do a top 5, but before that, I just want to announce that there's all this new stuff coming. They got their new Twitch stream coming, 2 new live events coming, the studio show coming, and I'm also going to be premiering a new segment on the Weekly Whisper. I don't know if it will be ready for next week, episode 42, but for sure 43, and I may not even be able to fit it in next episode, as there's going to be so much to talk about with all the results of the matches. But so yeah, look for a new segment to become hopefully a regular segment on the Weekly Whisper. I really put some thought into this, and I think it'll go well. But the other segment I always do is the top 5. So the one I did this week is top 5 365 superstars who have the most to lose this Saturday, October 17th, because they will all be competing in 2 contests. Some of the championships on the line, or every championship will be on the line at one point. And so I didn't put a lot of champions because that's kind of obvious. The championship, the people with the championships do have a lot to lose. So I tried to kind of shy away from that because that's just more obvious. So here's a top 5 365 superstars who have the most to lose, in my opinion, and also fitting my criteria for October 17th, this coming Saturday. Number 5, Sharif Morrow. He's a newcomer, and with 2 singles contests, if he does not win either of them, if he loses both, that would not look good on him. It would be really hard for him to push to come back, to try and get more events in the future, to being a part of 365. So look for him. He needs a win for sure, in my opinion, to make an impression. I mean, you can always make an impression if you're good with the fans and they start getting the office starts getting a lot of mail or merchandise for you, then you can always prove to be a viable commodity. But I think as far as winning championships and getting yourself in that hunt, he's got to win at least 1. And if he won 2, look out. And then, so number 4, with the most to lose on this Saturday, October 17th, the doubleheader, I would choose BJ Laredo. BJ was in the first couple 365 events this year in the British Columbia territory, and he lost both of his matches to Bret Matthews, so he kind of fizzled out a bit. He's coming back. He's going to face Rhea Von Slasher, and then he's going to be in that 4-way that I just talked about. But if he doesn't get a win here, he might be on a cold streak again, and he may have to sit out a few events. So look for him to come in hungry and try and get some wins to be more regular on the show. So he's number 4. Number 3 is Rhea Von Slasher. It's critical because I feel like her match against Liza Hall for the Global Women's Championship, which she already didn't have a shot at it, but she was in the finals to win. So I feel like if she doesn't win, not only will it be real hard for her to get another shot at the Global Women's Championship, but if she doesn't win against BJ, then she's going to slide down the rankings for the other 2 titles, the Grand Champion and the Global Championship. So even if she doesn't win the Global Women's, it'd be really good for her to win the other match to stay in the championship hunt on the other side, not the women's. And then, of course, winning the women's would be huge, too. So I picked Rhea number 3. Bret Matthews is number 2. Like me and Paul talked about, if he doesn't win the Grand Championship, then he probably will not be getting another shot at it, and I don't think he'd be high enough in the rankings to get a global championship soon, a championship shot soon, and then if he doesn't win the tag team titles, Brett Matthews is going to go home really empty-handed, and he's going to really sink in the rankings. And so he's number 2. And then number 1, I know I said I didn't pick any champions, but I did pick Liza Hall because it's such a huge event. After this event, she could go home with 2 championships. She could go home with none. She could still have 1 or lose 1, win 1. She could switch them around there. But I just feel like there's a lot on the line for her, but she definitely has really high stakes and a lot to lose, so I had to put her first. So there's your top 5. In my opinion, what's your opinion? Let me know what you think. Top 5 365 superstars with the most to lose this Saturday at the doubleheader show. Number 5, Sharif Morrow. Number 4, BJ Laurato. Number 3, Rhea Von Slasher. Number 2, Brett Matthews. And number 1, Liza Hall. And also, can you just please like, or you get a leg drop, comment, or you get a clothesline, subscribe, or you get a suplex, and share, or you get a sleeper. This is all episode 41 of The Weekly Whisper. I'm your host, Elian Habanero. I love wrestling. Cuba!